Transforming formulas in 5 minutes. In this example, the gravitational force of two objects is shown with this formula here. Let's talk about some of these items and what they mean. When you have a variable, it can have something like a lower number or an upper number, known as subscripts or superscripts. So low writing is a subscript, and high writing is a superscript, and they mean different things. A subscript is not math, but a superscript is. It means to multiply a number by itself in this case, a square. But this too does not mean that. This expression here is pronounced m sub 2, and this expression over here is pronounced m to the second power. A subscript is a label that always stays with this variable. It never gets separated or removed. But a superscript is a math operator that you may or may not have to remove by using a root. In this example, they give a lot of details about what each of the variables represent, but none of this information is really important to you right now. All you need to know is, what are we solving for? And in this case, we want to get the letter m sub 2 by itself. And the phrase "in terms of" means all of these other variable terms need to be on the other side of the equal sign. So we want m2 by itself and all of the other variables on the other side. So let's take a look at our first math move. If I want to get m sub 2 by itself, then I first need to get rid of this denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by r squared. Now when I rewrite, after I've eliminated my r squared from the right side, I see that this entire group is multiplying m to the sub 2. So in order to remove them, I can divide by them at the same time. Notice the m and its subscript 1 stays together. Now when I rewrite, my m sub 2 is isolated, and all of the variable terms are on the other side. Let's try transforming this formula again, but for a different variable. Again, the details don't matter. All you need to know is what you're solving for. And we're solving for the positive value of r. So when we write our example, we know that we can't have an r in the denominator. So again, we'll multiply by r squared first. When we rewrite, we now have r squared being multiplied by the term f sub g. So I'm going to divide by f and its little label g. And remember, they stick together. When I rewrite, my r is almost completely isolated, but it has this little exponent I need to get rid of. And we get rid of an exponent of 2, a square, by using a square root. Now technically every square root has 2 answers, but they've asked for only the positive value. So that gives us r is equal to a giant square root sign with g, m1, m2, all over fg. The entire fraction will remain under the square root sign. Let's take a look at some different formulas. In this example, again, they give a lot of description about Boyle's law, but all you have to focus on is what you're solving for. So let's get started. If I want to solve for v sub 2, then that means I need to undo multiplying by p sub 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by p sub 2. And that's it. Let's try 2 more formulas. This time, we'll isolate the value of r in the volume formula for a cone. So the first thing we want to do is clear this fraction. We're going to do that by multiplying by the reciprocal, leaving us with 3v is equal to pi times r squared times h. Next step is to divide by all of the items that are multiplying at the same time. And then when we rewrite, our final step here will be to remove the exponent of 2, which means we need to square root both sides, leaving r alone and giving us a giant fraction underneath the square root sign for the other side. Another popular formula to transform is the Celsius or Fahrenheit formula. So in this case, we want to solve for f. So in order to solve for f, I want to get rid of this distributing fraction first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, 9 over 5. That removes the fraction from the right side, and it takes that coefficient away, so I no longer need parentheses. Now my final move to get f alone is to add 32 to both sides, leaving us with 9/5 c plus 32 is equal to f. And that is how you transform formulas.